Can you hear me, Emily? Oh, is there some part of your brain that understands? Oh, if only there. I hope you can, because I do have something to tell you. Something very important. I was home, Emily, when Draper came home to his wife. They were strangers with each other. I know they are, in a way, and there has to be some awkwardness between them, but there was something more. Something much more. It's not going to work, Emily, this marriage of theirs. It died when he died. And you can't bring back the dead. We both know that. It won't work, Emily. Don't you see what that means? To you, to your future? No, you don't see yet. But you will, Emily. I promise.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It certainly is. I just never thought it was going to be our view.
Well, there are a lot of things that we never thought would happen. Beautiful little baby girl upstairs is one of the miracles. One of several. Do you want a drink?
No, thanks.
I don't know what's keeping Molly. She should have been back from the hospital ages ago.
Wonder how Logan's making out with Raven.
Yeah, I'm really surprised he accepted that invitation.
She's still his wife.
I know she's his wife. Name only, though, as they say.
He didn't look too happy tonight, did he? I guess it was because of the business with Jamie and Raven.
Well, I'm sure it is. The custody trial only starts in a couple of days, and he is not at all sure that he can win the case. It'd be really awful if he lost his son.
Yeah. A man can only stand so many losses. Logan didn't tell me any of the details, but I can't believe Raven's won every round.
Oh, it's only because she's a dirty fighter. It's the only reason. She has lied and cheated and tried every dirty trick in the book to try to keep that baby. But I won't believe she'll be able to fool a judge.
Well, the precedent has been set. The mother always gets custody of the child unless there's a very good reason.
There are loads of very good reasons. Anyone who knows Raven could give you a list as long as your arm.
But the judge doesn't know Raven. He's going to base his decision solely on the evidence he hears.
He will hear. I told you I intend on testifying, and I'm going to tell that judge that Raven's intention was to leave Jamie with us permanently.
Well, it's your word against hers. All she has to say is that it was a temporary sort of arrangement. And without that letter, you can't prove anything.
I know. I keep trying to be optimistic about it, but I know I don't have a leg to stand on. Oh, I know that my well-meant, sincere, wonderful testimony won't mean a damn.
I wish I knew what to suggest. I'd like to testify myself, but you're right. If I get up on that stand after what's happened to me the last 6 months, they'd disqualify me.
You know, When I heard that Nadine was coming to Monticello, I really hoped that it might make a difference in Raven's attitude. I don't know why.
Maybe it has. Maybe that's why she wanted to see Logan.
No. No, nothing can influence Raven except Raven.
Did, you see much of Raven while I was away?
If I see Raven once, it's too much. Anytime she came over here, it was always uninvited.
Typical.
Draper, I don't know. I've told her dozens of times what I really think about her, and it didn't seem to make any difference. She still kept coming over here. I'm certainly not her friend.
She doesn't know the meaning of the word.
No, she doesn't. That's very sad, too. To know that someone thinks they can go through life without someone they can really be honest with, someone whose sympathy means something, or someone who cares what happens to you. I don't know, maybe she had it once. Lost him or her. She probably had a rotten childhood. Doesn't it always start there?
Well, who hasn't? I'm sick and tired of making excuses for Raven.
I don't know. I wonder whether I've been handling this whole thing wrong.
What do you mean?
Well, I wonder if I wouldn't have been more of a help to Logan if I had changed my attitude towards Raven. You know, been more understanding, more patient. Let her be my friend.
I don't think it would have done any good.
Well, you know something? I'm going to make the attempt.
April, it's a waste of time.
The trial is too close, and Logan's position is too bad. Something has to be done. I'm going to try to see her. Try to talk to her like a person.
Well, I'm sure Logan would appreciate that, but I think it's a lost cause.
Well, I've got to try. Got to try for Logan's sake. Heaven knows he's helped me so much.
Yeah, he has.
Mrs. Scott, I'm sorry.
Oh, my God.
I just wanted to say that I'm so sorry I was late.
No, that's all right. How is Emily?
Well, she's just the same.
Oh.
I'll just leave you two alone.
What do you have to lose by a postponement? You have everything to gain if I decide not to fight for custody.
You know, there are times when I wish I could read your mind. Right now, for instance, I'd sure like to know what's behind this little ploy.
It is not a ploy. It is a perfectly legitimate request. I told you I've changed my mind, and I don't think I can handle Jamie anymore. I think it would be better off with his father. What's the matter? Don't you want him anymore?
Of course I do. I thought you wanted him, too. You've been behaving to everybody as if he was the most important thing in your life, though God knows why.
Well, now that the trial is just a few days away, I have a few doubts.
Doubts? Raven, one thing you've never had is doubts. You always know what you want.
I wish that were true.
Come on, what's up your sleeve, huh? You can tell me. What's behind all this?
I need some more time.
Time to do what and to whom?
You a drink, Chris?
Thank you.
Double martini.
Your lawyer know about this little request for a
No,
postponement?
my lawyer does not know. I came to you first. What's the matter? Why can't you trust me just a little bit?
Because every time I trust you a little bit, it turns out to be a big mistake.
Don't tell me you're in the mood for this custody trial, because I won't believe it now that Draper has come back.
Let's just stick to the subject of Jamie and the custody suit, shall we?
Tell me something, Logan. Don't you think you would be a lot better off if you just went to Draper and were honest with him about what happened between you and April? I mean, he might be upset at first, but eventually he would understand that she was a widow and she didn't know he was going to come back.
I'll talk to you later about this postponement. Think I better give it a little thought. Alone.
I don't believe I still have this. What the hell do you think you're doing?
Hi.
What are you doing here? It's not even 11 o'clock. You're supposed to be waiting tables.
Yeah, well, there were more waitresses at the Unicorn than there were customers, so Mr. Doyle let half the staff go home early.
And you won the toss.
Oh, well, actually, Kim, she's the other waitress. She said I was looking really tired, so she insisted that I be the one to leave early, and I didn't argue with her.
Well, you made a smart move.
Thanks. What was that record?
Just music.
It's pretty. I don't think I ever heard that one before.
It was written by a guy I knew in New York. It was supposed to be part of a jazz ballet that he never got around to finishing.
What a shame. I'd really like to dance to that.
Sorry. I picked the music, remember? I make all the decisions about your dancing from now on. We agreed to that tonight.
Yeah, I remember.
You do look beat. You sure you're well enough for all this? Going back to work, dancing again?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. It's just that it was my first night back, and I worked really hard.
I thought you said business wasn't so good.
Well, I helped out in the kitchen tonight, too. The assistant chef never showed up, so Mr. Dorn put me in there to help make the salads. He was a little upset with me tonight, and he wanted me to know it.
What do you mean?
Well, remember when I came down here earlier?
Yeah.
I was supposed to be on my dinner break, but I never had it. Maybe that's why I'm tired. The only thing I've eaten all night is lettuce greens.
I don't get it. Why didn't you have supper?
I wanted to come here instead.
Is that the only reason?
I didn't want to have dinner with the boss.
Why would you have to do that?
Because Mr. Dorn said something about having dinner with me. I didn't want to have dinner with him. I don't know. There's something scary about that man.
No, that's what Heather told me.
Heather?
Well, you remember. The girl who used to hang out here? She took a job at the Unicorn, and that guy Dorn chased her around the tables. Now, if he starts something like that with you...
You don't have to worry. It's okay. He hasn't done anything like that. Besides, he already has a girlfriend, and she's really beautiful. You know what I think? I think that he had a fight with her tonight, and that's why he was acting the way he was.
I don't think he needs any excuses to act the way he does. You watch that guy, huh? You don't have to put up with anything like that.
I know. It's called sexual harassment on the job. And I can complain to my nearest women's lib organization.
Or you can complain to me, and I'll tell Mr. Dorn what he can do with his libido.
I thought you were a dancer, Gavin. I didn't know you were also one of those knights in shining armor.
Oh, me? Forget it. I just don't want him or anybody else messing with my property.
Property? What kind of a word is that?
Sorry, I guess I could have chosen a better word. But that reminds me, I want you to look this over.
What is it?
It's a rough draft of a contract.
A contract?
We have an agreement, right? I like to get agreements down in writing.
Now I know why you use the word property.
Look, if there's something about the deal you don't like, we can change it. Or at least talk about it.
Should have been a lawyer, Gavin.
That's what they told me when I auditioned in New York. Look, it's basically very simple. I agree to give you free dance training and free use of the studio. And you allow me to guide and develop your career.
You mean like an agent?
No, it's more like a manager. Look, Jody, it's not a money contract. I'm not asking for a percentage of your earnings.
What earnings? My tips?
Your future earnings, I should say. Now, I'm not saying we can't and we won't talk about money in the future. But once you can command great sums of money from people like Bob Fosse, then...
Oh, yeah, sure. Won't that be the day?
Look, I just want you to know that I'm very serious about the deal we discussed. I'm going to do everything that I can to make you the best damn dancer in the business.
We both know that's not going to be easy.
But it doesn't matter. That's our goal, remember?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take a lot of dedication from both of us. And I just think it should be written down, like a sacred vow or something. What's so wrong with that?
Nothing. Not a thing. Guess it's the right thing to do.
You don't have to sign it now. Take it home with you. Show it to anybody you want to. But if you want the same thing I want, then both our signatures will be on that piece of paper.
Naturally, I told Draper that I wouldn't print anything objectionable, but, well, I do think I ought to talk to him about this.
Yes.
Yeah?
There's something I'm going to have to talk to him about, too. Well, I assume by now that he's learned about Cliff Nelson.
Yes, he has.
That means I'm going to have to talk to both Cliff and Draper about what's going to happen with my law firm.
Well, do you know what you want to do?
I don't have too many choices, do I? I certainly can't tell Draper that the job is no longer available.
Oh, no, of course you can't.
And on the other hand, it would be unfair to tell Cliff that his job has evaporated simply because Draper returned.
So, what do you think of a three-man office?
I don't have enough clients to support 3 attorneys.
Oh, honey, you've always known you could have as many clients as you want.
Well, I guess we'll find out pretty soon if that's true or not, because it looks like it's going to have to be Carr, Scott, and Nelson. For the time being, anyway. I'm not quite sure yet whether I want to have Cliff Nelson's name on the door.
All right.
Well,
Kelly, hi.
Look who's home early.
Yeah, well, I guess everybody's on vacation. We had to close the disco early tonight. Besides, Elliot Dorn was in a really foul mood.
Well, we're very glad to have you home here, no matter what the reason. Would you like something to eat or drink?
No, thanks anyway. Unicorn Kitchen keeps us well stuffed. You know what happened tonight? Elliot Dorn put Jody to work in the kitchen.
I didn't even know she was back to work.
Oh, yeah, she started again tonight. On the wrong foot.
Oh, that's not good for a dancer.
What happened, Kelly?
I'm not really sure, but whatever it was started in Mr. Dorn's office. Listen, remember a couple weeks ago you were telling me a story about him and you didn't get a chance to finish it?
Well, Kelly, that's not one of our favorite topics.
Any more than Mr. Dorn is one of our favorite people.
Well, I already know a little bit about him. He came to Monticello a couple of years ago with some kind of a nutty youth cult.
Well, he gave up that money-making scheme for an easier one. He married a rich woman.
Yeah, but his wife's dead, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, is that where he got the money to open the Unicorn Disco?
No, that was in his name before she died. Listen, Kelly, we don't want to turn you against the man. I mean, he's your employer. He pays you salary. Just think that.
And he pays me a fatter salary now than he did before. That salary increase came through. I got my first check today.
Congratulations.
And the reason why I'm happy about it is that I want to turn some of the money over to you.
Why, for heaven's sake?
Well, I realize it's going to be a long time before I can afford an apartment of my own, you know. And until I do, I want to help out with the household expenses. It would make me feel a lot better, honestly, Mike.
Well, we certainly want you to feel better, Kelly. But we'll discuss it later, okay?
Yeah, I just wish the money wasn't coming from Elliot Dorn. You know what I think really happened tonight? I think he made a pass at Jody. I think he made a pass at her and she didn't like it. That's why he put her to work in the kitchen.
Mrs. Cross. Mrs. Cross, wake up, you stupid lush.
Oh, what's the matter?
Is this the way you take care of my little boy?
Oh. I must have dozed off for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, I bet you dozed off as soon as I left the apartment, and I know what your medication was, too.
Oh, come on, Mrs. Swift. I swear I just dozed off a couple of seconds, that's all. I can prove it. I took a phone message for you.
Well, good. Who was it?
Somebody named... I forgot. I said I wouldn't forget because it was an easy name to remember. It was the name of a month. Now I remember. It was June.
Mrs. Cross, I don't know June.
It was a Mrs. June Scott.
All right, Mrs. Cross, here is some money. And there's your bag. Good night.
Thanks a lot, honey. Listen, don't forget to call June back.
Right. Hi, April. It's Raven. I'm so surprised you called.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Raven. I was wondering if you were free tomorrow evening.
Why? You want me to come over for dinner?
No, but I just thought maybe I could come over to your place and we could have a nice, long, serious talk.
Well, that would be great, except I don't have a built-in babysitter like you do.
Well, I know you don't. That's why I suggested I could come over to your place at about 6:30. Is that all right?
Sure, that's terrific.
See you then.
Okay, bye.
Mrs. Scott.
Oh, thank you.
May I interrupt you? It's about Emily.
Oh, well, yeah. Molly, I want to know all about your visit there at the hospital tonight. You know, I do want to go over there within the next day or so if you think that's a good idea.
Well, that's what I want to talk about.
You think my going there will disturb her?
Oh, no, I think she'd love it. But first, right now, she needs to see your husband.
My husband, Molly, or hers?
Oh, I'm very sorry. I really
No,
shouldn't have mentioned that.
no, it's all right. It's just that right now I think I should see Emily alone.
Seems as though a harmony is hard to find. Always on my mind. And frustrated days pass without sight. The edge of night